So 501, so I'll start while others probably joining. First of all, I want to remind that we're Mindfulness on Wall Street organization with a grassroots collaboration, and we are champions across the industry. I'm Olga Puntus with JP Morgan Chase. I am an executive director on the environmental social risk side. So I'm truly happy and very much appreciative of being part of this wonderful practitioner circle. I joined during COVID as invited by Mindful Wall Street organizers, and it's been a wonderful journey since. I want to remind you, everyone can share with teams and friends and families. So I invited my team to join today. Hopefully some of them did, to be part of this Monday 30-minute meditation and mindfulness session. So I would love to start, if that's okay, with telling how I feel today. So I feel a little bit anxious because of what's happening in the world. So the season is changing. So I live in Washington, D.C. We have rains, and then every day we wake up and we see the change in the weather, change in leaves color, etc. And I wanted to practice today with you the mindfulness of change meditation, a little practice, which I personally need to be reminded that coping with change is inevitable, it's part of life. And we all have to remember that the only permanent thing we have in life is change. And I was preparing for today's session and thinking, what helps me, or kind of what are the ways I am coping with change on a daily basis, again, be it the wars which are happening, or the new management at a company, or new employees which are coming to my team, or the leaves color and weather change. And I came with 4 different ways, if you will, or components, which are embracing life components, and they are making me to feel happy and kind of grow with that. And they also are derived from various studies which were comprised on the topic. So the first way is acknowledging the change. It's kind of one of my favorite quotes, which is Buddha actually related, who says the change is never painful, only resistance to change is painful. And I remind myself that nothing is forever except change. And we probably need to remind ourselves that change is fine and we embrace it and don't resist it. So the second way, which helped me, is that what are we thinking about the change? Because we are what we think, and therefore mindfulness practices. And I remind myself that all that we are arises from our thoughts. And it's kind of a powerful thing to remember that putting in my set of positive evolution or progress, not just thoughts, but kind of advancement into practice, is certainly easier said than done. But if we remind ourselves that both positive and negative thoughts or challenges provide us with teachings, with insights, with awareness and understanding, rather than kind of saying, I can't do this and there's no way I'm going to do this, we need to remind ourselves, well, that's the situation we're in. And then we may take more time or have a longer process, but we will do it. So that's the second one. We are what we think. The third one is kind of finding a community of supporters for embracing change. And I do think mindfulness on Wall Street is one of those communities. It doesn't have to be an expensive coach. It can be really a group of friends or an organization like Mindfulness on Wall Street, for example. And the fourth way of practically embracing change for me was practice makes perfect. So we definitely want to remember that sticking with something is persevering, and that's where the change or embracing change becomes easier. It's kind of easy, I was thinking, look at somebody who is, successful and clearly embraced all the changes in life and say, well, it's an overnight success. But we know that nothing comes overnight, and every change leads to something hopefully better or something different. And I was reading the article from the one of the American actors, and he was saying it takes 20 years to become an overnight success. And I thought that's a very powerful statement, because it's so true that we never see the blood, the stress, the sweat, the tears, and we always think about, oh, well, he or she's overnight success. So practicing making perfect and remembering sticking with something is helping us to persevere with whatever it is, and change is one of those things we can stick with. So with that in mind, I hope you all arrived, and I offer the 10 to 12-minute practice, and then we could maybe have some questions and hopefully feel a little bit more of an embracing change at the end of practice. So if you would sit in your chair just as comfortably as you can. So some of you might lay down if you at home and your bed is close to you. So that's always an option. You can uncross your legs, and hopefully your arms are in an armrest and a very comfortable position. So we can close our eyes. I'm going to keep mine open just so I can focus on my voice and saying what I want to say. But you can close your eyes, so slightly close them, whatever works for you. You can uncross your legs. And if you find some negative thoughts or fears around you, that's totally okay. And if you feel Monday has not been as calm as it could have been, that's totally fine. So just kind of embrace your anxiety and your stress, and take a moment to arrive. Take a deep belly breath where it comes through your nose. Hopefully comes all the way to your shoulders, your neck, where all the stress usually sits, and then you can hold it there for a second, and then deeply exhale through your mouth. We're going to do it one more time, all together, with a deep belly breath in through your nose. Try to bring it as high and as stress-free as possible to your neck, to your chest, to your shoulders. Keep it there for a millisecond, and then deeply exhale through your mouth. Check on your feet, that they're on the ground, they feel support on the earth, and then kind of relaxing posture in the chair. If you feel you need a little bit more of a movement before you stay there for 10 to 12 minutes, so do adjust the way it works for you. Let my voice be your guidance, and let your eyes relax into the soothing darkness. While we all really know things change, sometimes it does really feel like things will be like they are now forever. So learning to watch things change and come to an end is a useful training to remind ourselves that things are not as permanent at the end as they sometimes feel. So that's what we will do now. We will start checking in how our body is. Sitting up or laying down, becoming aware of our posture, which is hopefully in 7 minutes in of the discussion, it's a little bit more present, more calm. Noticing any holdings that might be kicking around, and intentionally trying to relax them if we can. Breathing out Breathing out long, smiling if we can, and letting the smile setting the wave of relaxation throughout the body. Here, just as we are, comfortable, safe, protected. Things do change. They start, they stick around for a bit, and then they end. What we are going to do here is to notice that change by paying particular attention to the endings. The end of a thought, the end of a sound as it fades into silence, the end of the feeling as it runs out of energy, tuning into endings. This can take a little bit of getting the hang of. So to help us out with understanding the endings, we will start with something simpler. The end of the in-breath. We will not pay attention to any other aspect of our breath, apart from a moment when the in-breath come to an end and the out-breath takes over. Wherever in the body you can feel the breath, you can put your hand on a belly, on your chest, if it helps you find the breath, and noticing that end point. The end of an in-breath, which herald the start of the out-breath. Take one more breath, just like that. Inhaling with the belly and finding the ending of the in-breath. It's probably somewhere on the upper chest. And then noticing when the ending of the in-breath becomes the start of the out-breath. One more breath, just like that. Noticing the incoming breath rising. Seeing and noticing its ending. and the change to the immediate out breath and its start. Seeing the ending of the incoming breath, noticing the change between the in breath and out breath, catching that change and seeing the beginning of the out breath. Seeing the change and understanding when one ends and another one begins. And maybe we go into the deeper in breath to make its ending more pronounced and making the out breath even more powerful, seeing the beginning of it at the top of our lungs. And paying attention only to the ending of the in breath. So when we see the ending right before the change happens, so we can get used to it just for a little longer. Seeing of the ending and the change can be now obvious to us. We can take one more breath with that full awareness of the start of the in breath, the end of the in breath, the change, the start of the out breath, the end of the out breath, the change again, and the beginning of the new breath as a change. Now that you got hang of the breath, drop that breath attention and think of something else, anything else you're aware of. Noting the moment when anything else comes to an end. Whether that is a sound, a sensation, a thought, maybe even an image. Noting endings and noting the change. If it helps you, we can even say the word and quietly to ourselves. When we are caught up in a passion of a thought or a worry, which feels so solid and so real, but noticing ending in this way we can chip away from the idea that things are permanent. If we are able to notice and to acknowledge the endings, then we will be more secure in our knowledge that change is possible and the change will happen. We'll take one more breath, just focusing on anything which matters to us right now. It could be again a breath, a sound, a sensation, a thought. Could be sound outside the room. And we notice the cycle again. Has it been starting? As it's ending? The change and potential new breath, new thought, new sound, starting again. As we're coming to an end of our practice, and while you're coming slowly back to your regular breath, to your body, to the room, please know that you have this practice to use at any time if you need to acknowledge the end and the change of anything at all. Please use it when you feel stuck in a worry, in a permanence of a situation. Noticing the end of a breath, of a sound, of a sensation, and noting that things come to an end and they start again. And I invite you to maybe open your eyes slowly, move your neck from one side to the other. Maybe wiggle your toes, your fingers, your back. Just kind of move a little bit for the second or two. Awaken your body, awaken your breath. Come back to a regular presence in the room. And I hope you feel a little bit less anxious, a little bit less permanent, a little bit less stuck. And we have 3 minutes. I'm happy to answer any questions any of you might have. And I only want to mention again that you have this practice, which is very simple, but I find very powerful to use in any situation when we're stuck and feel the permanence and unchange, and reminding that everything ends and starts again. Thank you for finding time for yourself on a Monday afternoon, and always reminding yourself about the presence, the mindfulness, the kindness we could give ourselves and our peers. And so thank you, everyone. So I hope everyone will have a good week, and then we'll see you next Monday. Take care.